Hi, you've tuned into Gila Nehemiah Sacred Erotic Poetry, Sacred Sexuality podcast. Thank you for joining. I'm going to be coming on approximately every 2 weeks. So you may have seen or you may have been feeling the full moon in Aries. It occurred last night, tonight. Look up in the sky and see the full moon. Before we begin this, mind-blowing podcast, because my mind has been blown, so I want to try to share that with you. So let's take 3 deep breaths. Please do so with me. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes, but everyone else, please close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Calling in God, Source, Universe. We're calling in the powers of water. We're calling in the powers of Mother Gaia's womb space. We're calling in our inner power to commune with the power in the Earth's core or Mother Earth's womb space to connect through all of our 13 plus chakras into the infinite oneness. Aho, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I wanted to come on today. I was thinking about coming on yesterday, though the timing wasn't right. So here I am. And it is 10:10. So it's not only the full moon, it's 10:10, a powerful portal. Whenever you see double digits in any month, meaning, 9, 9, 11, 11, all those numbers are powerful portals. And I wouldn't say that, like, the synchronicities and all this stuff, it's all true, but I feel like my message today is about what are you feeling within? What are you deciding or feeling that you want to birth this next lunar year? For many Israelis, Jews, we celebrate Sukkot right now. We had just celebrated Rosh Hashanah, following the lunar cycle. Many religions follow the lunar cycle, and many of us follow the lunar cycles because it calls to us. And I have been following the moon for a long time. I moved away, and I just see all celestial bodies as giving us messages. So I'm balancing out my connection to the moon. This is a powerful full moon in Aries, especially because it falls right in this, 1010 portal energy field. So I feel like we are stepping into boldness. We're stepping into new areas of our life. We're stepping into new areas of our life that we may have laid dormant. Maybe we didn't have the energy. Maybe we weren't quite ready. There are infinite reasons, and the main thing is that you are moving forward, that you are focusing on your own needs and desires and your own priorities for your life. And I feel like it's just such an important thing. Like, it seems like intuitive, but those of us who are starseeds, those of us who are empaths, those of us who have gone through a lot of trauma, it hasn't been an easy road to choose ourselves. Those of us who've gone through so much darkness, and sometimes it's hard to even face it because it seems like a mountain, right? How do we get over this mountain that eons and generations have created, and we're living through and having to pull down the structures, not only outside of us, but within ourselves, within our own mind, our conditioned thinking, our limiting beliefs. I know all of you know this, but this is a moment where we are truly deciding what our sacred timeline is. I used to say to myself, God, source, universe, help me to choose my highest timeline. I am now aware of my highest timeline, and I'm consciously choosing it and co-creating it with God, source, universe. And I didn't feel like I used to do that before. I've always been trusting, but I've been really letting go of the reins more and more and releasing that control and totally staying on the vision. I'm like really kind of um, honing in on the vision to allow it to open. And I feel like I've allowed myself to come into this space because of really allowing, myself and others to help me to deal with some of my own wounding. So I think this is a time to honestly look at where we have allowed ourselves to prioritize others in the sake of, you know, helping or whatever word you want to use, giving. All of those things are important, but never to abandon yourself and your own needs. And I feel like it is something that is truly important to understand and to practice as on a daily basis, because as much as I've done this work for the last 5 years, I've I've also seen myself give more of myself to my clients, to everyone else but me. And I have to take that energy back. And so it's time for us to take our energy back, to perhaps even, withdraw from our daily activities, to go within, to be in nature. Today, my daughters and I went to a waterfall in the north of Israel, and just listening to the power of the water, like meditating on it, listening to the springs, just listening to the water relieved so much stress, even though I didn't have a lot. But I felt like I was so much more at peace with myself. And I really need to commune with nature. That's why I don't live in the city. That's why I consciously choose to live in more natural neighborhoods, because communing with nature, even putting my feet on the ground, lying on the ground, feeling the earth, um, it opens up a space in my heart, in my soul, in my womb space, to really understand that, within every dark area of our life is light. Actually, if you think about it, when you cannot have a shadow without light, they have to coexist together. So if you feel like you're in either extreme, then there isn't balance. There has to be both. When you see today, when we were watching the dappling light coming in the shade of the trees, it's like that makes it complete. It's beautiful because of the way that the light shines and the balance of the shade. When you're in too much sun, it's too hot and you can't handle it. But when you're like, moving into the shade, or it's going shade and light, then it becomes a lot more balanced, and your body can even, perhaps even work harder, but it's not going to feel it as much because you have that balance. So I'm inviting you into the space of a balance, of realizing that when we can go into those dark spaces, even looking at our own parts of our lives that have been challenging for us, whether for me, it's been whether it's relationships or finances or work or anything else that you're doing that doesn't seem to be quote unquote working. Where has a program been running? What has happened in your life to make you think in a certain way, and how you might be running on this illusionary track of this is going to happen when it actually isn't happening. I mean, I'm just sharing this with you because it's been a long part of my own life of, why I am a coach. I did do it for 4 years. I went back into the workforce about a year ago. and I have not regretted it. I feel like many of us are called to do many different things, and it's not just one thing that we're going to do, right? And when I made that shift in my life, it not only stabilized me, but I realized that perhaps I was looking at it in an illusionary way, like this was going to make it for me. And not that it isn't, it just needs a lot more time and it needs a lot more foundation. At least that's what I see from, the reality of my own life, of what was happening, what was transpiring. As hard as I worked, I wasn't able to get a lot of traction. So I had to do, have a family, I have to take care of it. It's like, so I'm really just wanting to come up and be vulnerable, be real with you, because we all face challenges. I'm not here to just say, oh my God, everything is just so totally beautiful. Look at the beautiful waterfalls. Within that waterfall, within that power that we saw today, there is a depth that can be scary. There is a height that can be totally, um, like going into the space of euphoria. But until you go into the depth, you can't get into the euphoria. Like it's already said, like you have this vast amount of sadness, but at the same token, you have this unbelievable heights of happiness. To go down, you're going to go up, and you're going to be able to tread water and swim and become balanced. And so I feel like until we're honestly, really honestly looking at our situations that cause us frustration, pain, disappointment, whatever you want to call it, that aren't working for you, and saying, okay, what does work for me? What can work for me? How can I show up for myself and choose my own desires and needs, irrespective of anybody else, irrespective of pleasing or playing anyone else's game? Begin to play your own game of your own happiness, choosing yourself and helping others. Because when we choose ourselves, we are helping others in the process. Always. I always give. I've always been taught to give from my parents. My parents were givers, both of my parents. And my hands are always out, but I have to also make sure that I am stabilized, that I am in a secure place. So because when I do that, I am able to give more. Today Dalai Lama was talking about somebody asked, what is the best thing to say to young people today? And he talked about altruism, not to, stay too much in the self, but to have altruism. But I feel like there's also a balance. You must take care of your own needs. Every mother has to make sure that she feeds herself before she feeds her own children, especially when they're in the womb, because the child is being fed off of what you eat yourself. You're not going to have the energy to take care of your own family if you can't actually take care of yourself. So it's these very real truths that we sometimes, or we have to always actually look at and be aware of and say, okay, where am I not showing up for myself, or where am I not choosing myself and putting somebody else possibly, um, in the forefront instead of myself? And I feel like this is a huge lesson, at least for me. And I feel like many starseeds and empaths might be on that same path. And Radhaa Nilia and I are doing the dark side of the womb, stepping into the Sophianic Light, the Christed Sophianic Light. We're doing a 12-week journey. Sorry, we're doing a 12-week journey starting in November, where we're going to have a course. We're going to give you transmissions, both the goddess activations, quantum healing, group live sessions, as well as within the course writing prompts and resources, and we're going to get feedback from what you're writing and give you feedback, so that when we actually come on to each coaching call, we're totally ready. We know where you're all at. It's going to be really intense, and we are, doing it thematically by going to the shadows, by going through archonic energies, by going into rebirth, taking you through the whole transformational journey in a 3-month or 12-week period, especially during these holiday months. It sometimes can be very, very challenging because, honestly, we are children of the divine. And we are here to make huge, huge changes. And you are all super courageous in your own way. And so, how do we keep being courageous as a collective? How do we combat these well-known horrors that are happening every single day all around the world. Well, the first thing I believe is to first begin to take your own power back and then work together as a collective. Because when we collectively have each other's backs and we're hoping and we're helping and we are doing the work ourselves and with others to change our own lives, then we can begin to help others to change their lives. It's always been a domino effect, and there is so much wisdom within each and every one of us, within each and every one of our cultures, within each and every one of our generations. And it's remembering that wisdom, from our indigenous cultures, from every single nook and cranny of our existence. There is wisdom. And I feel that we forget that. We forget that because we give away the wisdom to someone or some other entity. So it's time to reclaim that. It's time to remember that your intuition, your insights, your needs and desires are important and they need to be fulfilled. That is part of this awakening. God's Source Universe is helping us to fulfill that, though sometimes we seem to get sidetracked, or there's a program running that is trying to hijack our highest journey. And it's time for us to consciously take ourselves back to what we truly wanted from the very beginning and know that we always have been deserving it. You are so worthy. You are amazing. You are complete within yourself, regardless of whatever's going on in your life. We try to say, oh, when we get it together, it's going to happen. No, it doesn't have to be together. You are already together. You might want to do more in your life, and there's more things that you can, fix and change and, reclaim and rewire, though you're already amazing. You are. And it's like when we begin to say each and every day, like, I am worthy of this. I am worthy of this dream happening for me. I am worthy of having this, of receiving this, of giving this, of being this larger than life person, because you are. You are. Whenever we're in awe of anything, that is reflecting something within ourselves. I'm constantly in awe of nature. I'm constantly in awe of the light, of the water, the power of just, butterflies, of water running, of fish. I'm in awe. I'm in awe of these beings, of my own dog, of my cats, my children, like even my house. I went in through a cleaning frenzy this weekend, for this full moon, because I had to uncover the light that's been hidden. And that's what I feel is the most important message of this podcast. So if you've been listening so far up to, minute 17.37, then uncovering the light that's been hidden, both within ourselves, within our places of living, within, I'm not a neat freak, but I feel like I just had to uncover all the dinginess, all the kind of, dirt, whatever that sometimes builds up and I didn't clean, in all those little nooks and crannies that we don't always like to clean. I was like, it's time. It's time to clean every single little crevice, because there is a light that's shining that our desires to shine, but it cannot see the light of day until you open the window. So I'm asking you, I'm inviting you to open the window of your entire being, to let it beam out its light amidst its shadows, amidst its darkness, because only when we clear out the darkness can we see the light, and there may be more darkness still within. Yet as we go deeper and deeper, we can get to the root of the issues and we can resolve them, or we can at least accept them and say, yes, that was, and now I am complete. I've always been complete. I don't need anyone else to be complete. we can have an amazing relationship. So I am whole, I am sovereign, and I am complete within myself. And I'm clear of what I am desiring and what I'm worthy for. If there's anyone in your life that isn't quite showing up or that has excuses as to why, then that person is just not worthy of you. And it took me a long time to realize this. So I'm just stating that for anyone that might need to hear it. And I know that it's part of my journey as well. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just to realize it is the most important thing. And it's not just a relationship, it's your workplace, it's the way you show up in your friendships, it's your client and, coaching relationships and your therapist. It's everywhere. Are you showing up for you? Are you showing up for someone else? Are you putting their needs before yours? Are your needs less important? No. Your needs are the highest of importance. And your needs and someone else's needs can be met. That's how we create win-wins in every situation. But if your needs are not being met, then you are not being served. And you cannot, I feel for myself, I cannot serve to my highest and greatest abilities if my needs are not being met in any situation that I'm in. So that's my biggest message today. To serve your own needs by going deeper and into that darkness in a collective manner through um, healing circles, because this is no longer a solitary journey. And when I talk about the Sophianic light, I'm not just talking about, Jesus Christ or people that believe in Christ. No, we're talking about a Sophianic light that goes beyond all religions. It is the light of pure pure balance. We talk about Christ Sophia in terms of Christ consciousness, in terms of a higher consciousness of higher love, of higher balance into the oneness. So whether you believe in Shakti, whether you believe in Buddha, whether you believe in Allah, it doesn't, it goes beyond all that. It goes into the oneness, unified feel of what is, right? It's infinite. To reach that infinity, we move together. This is a collective awakening, and we are called now to collectively form in our soul groups to help each other to realize that some of the illusions that we've been living have truly been illusions, but we can snap out of it. We can awaken together to realize that that fantasy that we have created or we have co-created with false entities or whatever you want to call it can now be shattered to open up to the truth of your own reality, which is actually amazing. We don't need to numb ourselves anymore. We don't need to run away from our darkness because our darkness is actually the pathway into our light, which is why, Radha and I call this whole 12-week series The Dark Side of the Womb, moving through the shadows into the Sophianic light. Transformation. That's been the name of the game for many, many years now. And now it's becoming a collective force. So we're asking you or inviting you to join us in this collective force. And I'm inviting you to really take a look at your own life and see where you've been maybe giving excuses or not allowing something to really shine in your own life because you might have still been giving it away to someone else or some other entity. It's time to reclaim that back. And we're inviting you into that journey together with us. This full moon in Aries, this 1010 portal is bold. Aries is bold, makes bold moves. It's time for you to make a bold move in your life. And you will be rewarded, guaranteed. Because when you put your trust in God's source universe, you're putting your trust in yourself. And there's no higher trust than the trust of your own wisdom. and your own being. There is no higher trust. Um, so I am so in awe of you. And I don't know all of you who listen to me, but I know that if you've come this far and you've listened to the very end, you're amazing. Not just because you've listened to the very end, because you are. I just applaud you for, wanting to listen to me. But I feel like this is an important message for you to hear, or else you wouldn't have listened this far. And plus, just for you being alive, you're breathing, you are so important to the cosmos, to the fabric of this universe, this galaxy, this energetic field. So you are here for a much higher purpose. And if you feel that, join us in this 12-week journey and join us in this amazing, amazing full moon Aries energy of truly reclaiming yourself and knowing that each and every desire that you have is already done because you are everything you need to be and more at all times. And I know each and every one of us are here to better ourselves, and we are already on this path, and we've already come so far. So I want to honor you. I want to witness you. I want to say, aho, and so it is to every single desire that you're desiring right now, and to release all of those systems, those psychic attacks, all of those beings that are siphoning off your energy. Release. Release. Say it with me. I release all of the energies that are being siphoned off from me right now, and I reclaim my power. Aho, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll close this circle with 3 deep breaths. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time. Namaste, Shanti Shalom.